Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm fashionably late. But it's just because I was just here trying to pull all the magic into this episode that I could wrangle in the time allotted, in my schedule and stuff. I was actually been working today on a listener emails podcast that I'll be releasing later on Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, etc. But I was just pulling all that together, and it's really cool when you guys send in your stories. And I love, my first love is being able to talk with you guys. Of course, that's awesome, whether you call into the live show or you arrange with me to be a guest on the podcast. It's amazing to ask you questions and to talk, of course, and to have a dialogue about what you've experienced. But my second favorite thing is when you email me and send in your stories. And there's some great stories on this episode that'll be released after the show sometime. So you may actually, it may not be until much later after the show. We'll see how industrious I get in stitching it all together. But I got all the narration parts done, so that'll be coming up later tonight. If you're not already a follower of our podcast, please become one. It would help us out a ton, just like it helps us out a ton here. It's a separate show than the YouTube show completely. So, if you're watching our YouTube channel, you're not watching our podcast, because our podcasts are audio only and are available on those other platforms that I just mentioned. But essentially anywhere you listen to Sasquatch Chronicles podcast, unless it's Wes's website. Other than that, anywhere else that you get it through the players out there, just search for Paranormal Portal and you should find us. And, that's just how all over we are. And sometimes we're all over the map, as too, but not in always a good way. But no, this is a great show. I'm really excited about this one. It's the second one of this season that I've done of listener stories, listener emails, and just incredible stories. And I'm really excited. I hope you guys love it. So we are going to do UFO encounters tonight here on the Night Terrors. And this is a great topic. I really like that we're rotating subjects. Rather than just always doing ghostly encounters, which we've done for a long time. And those are great, too. Don't get me wrong. I love ghost stories incredibly. In fact, most of the experiences I've had paranormally have been spiritual experiences. So I love those. I never get tired of them. But, I just keep wanting to bring you guys the variety of such. So when I did the poll on YouTube and said, what do you guys think? What do you think? What do you like? What do you not like? And most of the feedback I got was, I like all of them. I like all the different subjects. So I thought, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't we just do all of them on the Night Terrors? So we alternate through topics on the Night Terrors now, whereas it used to be just ghostly encounters. But I hope you guys are enjoying that as much as you thought you might. I know you guys have showed up, and lots of you out there are hanging out with us. So that's wonderful. But let's see. The phone lines are open if you want to be a part of tonight's show. Please feel free to call in if you got a UFO encounter of your own or something UFO-y that you want to discuss. Call 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So that'll get you here, and I will do my best to watch that and answer it as soon as I can. So if that is agreeable to you, that'll be wonderful. So without further ado, I guess that's all I got on the front end here, so I hope somebody's already calling from Australia, of all places. I hope you all are ready, because it's time for bed. Derp. Boom. And we're back. Let's get to this call, because it's from Australia. That can be an expensive thing. So let's see who's calling us right on the beginning here. Hello, Australia. How you doing?
G'day, Brent. How you going?
Hey, is this Aussie?
Yep.
How you doing, brother?
Not too bad.
That's interesting.
I do have a UFO
Oh.
experience I've had.
Good, good. I'd love to hear it. I just wanted to point out it's interesting. Last time you called in, something was weird with the phone lines because it made it look like your phone call came from Kansas, but now it says Australia. So I don't know why it's kind of flippy like that. But I appreciate you calling in, brother. Tell me about it. I'd love to hear it.
You know, it's a good thing the extraterrestrials messing with the phone line.
That could be. But go ahead. Let us know what your experience is.
Yeah. My experience, this happened for about, now I can't remember how long ago it was. About 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was just washing down a horse and I looked up and I see these 3 lights and they're quite a way away, so I reckon there was a good distance between all 3 of them.
Okay.
I saw them, and I reckon there was probably a good. Just trying to put into measurements of how far apart I think the lights were.
Uh-huh.
Just how far away they seemed. I think they were about good 3 miles apart each in a triangle formation.
Oh wow. Okay.
And now you got this for time. The moment I went to grab my phone, because I had it in my pocket, to take a picture of it, they faded out all at the same time. It's like, oh, you prick.
Doesn't it almost seem like they can hear your thoughts? And I know some people believe they can. And maybe that's true, but it just seems so convenient that they're there.
I think they could.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be, at the time, I wasn't far from the coal power station in Victoria.
Okay.
Because we've got a couple out in the Gippsland areas of Victoria, and I was literally, probably about 2 kilometres away from there.
Wow. So is there...
So a little over 1 mile.
Is there any possibility that it was one craft with 3 lights on it, or are you absolutely certain it was 3 different lights?
I'm pretty sure it was one craft.
Oh, one craft. Okay. But it was
3.
Just huge.
I couldn't see the stars behind it, yet when they disappeared, I could.
Wow. That is so
It was
intense.
just on twilight where, things are starting to get a bit dark. So the stars are coming out.
Wow. That's really intense. Do you have any... Go ahead, Victor. I'm sorry.
No. You about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have a history of seeing things up in the sky? Like, have you noticed them at other points in your life too, or is this a brand new experience?
If I haven't really noted that they were UFOs till recently.
Okay.
But possibly, but they could have just been satellites. But no, since that experience, I've not seen another one since.
Mm. Yeah, but I mean,
that's why it's so fresh in my mind. It's just the last one I had.
Yeah,
that I can remember.
That's really intense. But the reason I'm wondering is because if they were really there watching you, maybe they've been watching you for a long time. And I don't mean to freak you out. I don't mean to try to get you nervous or anything. But and if they were too...
Well, if they have been watching me, then ever since primary school, I've been felt like I've been watched. But I've been looking down on the ground, not up in the sky.
Yeah, yeah.
So they could have been watching me and giving me that eerie feeling, shit, I've been watched.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, I mean, it does. Many people report that they've had experiences throughout their lives with being followed, believing they may have been abducted or anything like that. You don't have any missing time or anything like that, do you?
On the exact same day, yes.
Really?
Because a job that normally takes me no more than half hour took me 2 hours.
Wow. Maybe you went for a ride, brother.
Yeah, maybe they abducted me, did a couple of things, and coming back down, and all I remember is just doing my job and don't remember any missed time.
Wow. That's
Didn't notice it till after they got back.
that's pretty intense.
The person I was waiting on.
Yeah.
That is.
That's really intense. I don't know. It'd be curious. I don't know of anybody that does like regression hypnosis or anything like that, but I often wonder, even in my own case, I saw a saucer and I've thought about it. It's like, what if I did somehow miss some time or something? Cause I was all by myself and I don't know. I felt like I was pacing the whole time, just all wound up, but it makes me wonder if they were just sitting there watching me. Was that just it? They just, oh, look at the guy on the porch with the binoculars. Wild. Okay, let's go, guys. Or did they go, hey, there's one. Let's suck him up and take a look. You just don't know. And
yeah, it's like they know we're looking.
Yeah, exactly. It is very curious. But, man, that's really intense, man. I appreciate you calling in and sharing that with us.
Them, yeah, I reckon some of them don't mind us looking.
Right.
Because they were, shall we abduct that one or shall we not?
I know.
No, we'll leave that one be.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll go over there. We'll abduct that one over there.
Yeah, we're like a rack of produce down here, and they're just checking it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, anyway.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you calling in and being part of the show. It's good to hear from you.
Yep, no worries.
All right. Good night, Aussie. Thanks again.
Yep, no worries. Dean.
Oh, very cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aussie Tiger. Longtime friend of the show. He's been with us for years. And we love all you guys. And it's great when you call in and be a part of the show. I hear an angel gets its wings with every phone call. So I don't know if that's true. I might have made that up, but anyway. All right, so I got a bunch of stuff for us to go through tonight, including Brent Swanser article. And then remember, at the end of the show, we'll go through the trail cam terrors. And I got an interesting one tonight. I don't know, it's a little perplexing, a little unnerving, but you can be the judge when we get to it later. But first off, I've got an article here from animalien.com. And this is... I thought it was interesting because, I often wonder about this. A lot of times we utilize, the radio telescopes oftentimes to listen for ETs and to listen for things like fast radio bursts and such, radio transmissions that may be emitted by something that's not naturally occurring. And it makes me wonder, often I've wondered, what if they didn't develop the same way? We have an idea of our technology, and our technology is that, we kind of figured out telegraph first, running things on a wire, and then radio programming and exchanging information over the airwaves via radio waves. And so I think we're expecting everyone else might have come up that same way, but what if technology was different for these other species that are out there, these other manifestations of life? What if they developed a completely different system that we don't know how to test for? What if they somehow figured out quantum communications right off the bat, and they didn't go through this whole baby step thing that we did? And I don't know if that's possible, but I just like to think, what could technology look like for an alien race? And if they had it, and we're broadcasting through the cosmos, would we be able to understand that's one, that it's there? Would we be able to hear anything that they're doing? And two, would it appear like a natural transmission, or could we differentiate? And I don't know. I think that there's something to that. I think Jim Mount was the first one that talked about that when he was on the show. And I was like, God, that's a good point. What if they didn't do the same, come up the same way we did? We could be bombarded with information that we just don't even understand how to receive. So I don't know if this is what the article's about or not, but that's my 2 cents on it right up front. But this article is called, What If We Called Extraterrestrials, But We Were Not Heard? Like maybe they don't even listen for the way that we're calling. This from animalien.com. It says, now 2 astrophysicists are proposing a way to make sure we don't miss the signal if extraterrestrial observers try to contact us first. Renee Heller and Ralph Pudritz say the best chance for us finding a signal from beyond is to presume that extraterrestrial observers are using the same methods to search for us that we're using to search for life beyond our Earth. Here on Earth, space researchers are focusing most of their search efforts on planets and moons that are too far away to see directly. Instead, they study them by tracking their shadows as they pass in front of their own host stars. Measuring the dimming of starlight as a planet crosses the face of a star during orbit, scientists can collect a wealth of information even without ever seeing those worlds directly. Using methods that allow them to estimate the average stellar illumination and temperatures on their surfaces, scientists have already identified dozens of locations where life could potentially exist. Heller and Pudritz turn the telescope around to ask, what if extraterrestrial observers discover the Earth as it transits the sun? If such observers are using the same search methods that scientists are using on Earth, the researchers propose that humanity should turn its collective ear to Earth's transit zone, the thin slice of space from which our planet's passage in front of the sun can be detected. It's impossible to predict whether extraterrestrials use the same observational techniques as we do, said Heller, but they will have to deal with the same physical principles as we do, and Earth's solar transits are an obvious method to detect us. The transit zone is rich in host stars for planetary systems, offering approximately 100,000 potential targets, each potentially orbited by habitable planets and moons. And scientists say, and that's just the number we can see with today's radio telescope technologies. If any of these planets host intelligent observers, they could have identified Earth as a habitable, even as a living world long ago, and we could be receiving their broadcast today, write Heller and Pudritz. Heller is a postdoctoral fellow who, while at McMaster, worked with Pudritz, a professor of physics and astronomy. Heller is now at the Institute for Astrophysics in Göttingen, Germany. Göttingen, I don't know. Germany, and the question of contact with others beyond Earth is hardly hypothetical, as such projects are underway both to send signals from Earth and to search for signals that have been sent directly or have leaked around obstacles, possibly traveling for thousands of years. Heller and Pudritz propose that Breakthrough Listen initiative, part of the most comprehensive search for extraterrestrial life ever conducted, can maximize its chances of success by concentrating its search on Earth's transit zone. Research is published in the journal Astrology. Now, what I found interesting, folks, was that there's another article here that I found, and I don't know what it's going to say. I haven't read it, but I saw the headline and went, ooh, this is interesting. And this is the other side of the coin, and I'm not sure what old Elon's going to say. But Elon Musk says, seeking aliens is a waste of time. So, I don't know. This is from unexplainedmysteries.com. And it says, during a recent interview, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk talked about aliens and the futility of looking for them. With his sights set firmly on sending humans to Mars in the coming decades, Musk is certainly no stranger to fielding questions about the possibility of intelligent extraterrestrial life in the universe. Speaking during an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Musk, who recently became the world's richest man, seems somewhat skeptical about the topic. Honestly, I think I would know if there were aliens. Wow, what an ego. Honestly, I think I would know if there were aliens, he said. I mean, if they wanted us to know about them, they could just show up and walk down Main Street like, hey, I'm an alien, check me out. Here's my spaceship. I just landed in the middle of Times Square. Then we'd all be like, okay, we believe you. They are very subtle, these aliens. Rogan followed up by asking Musk how much he thought about UFOs during his work at SpaceX. 0, he replied. If they show up, I'm like, great, this is new information. Like, where were you guys up until now? If I see some evidence for aliens, I'll be the first to be like, aliens. As for the hunt for evidence of alien life, Musk is adamant that this is a waste of time. If there are aliens, they are very subtle, he said. They're just being pretty shy. So as far as we can tell, there's none, nor are we seeing signals from any other solar system. I don't know. That's still just a really egotistical statement, right? Because how can you say there's none? With all of the witnesses of people seeing things, myself included. So I'm a little, taking this a little personal, but I didn't see a helicopter. I didn't see a plane. I didn't see a balloon. I saw a flying saucer that I couldn't see with my naked eyes. I could only see it in the infrared through the night vision binoculars. When I remove the binoculars, in the binoculars, it's emitting light. It's flashing lights. I lower the binoculars and there's nothing there. So I saw that and I just went, wow, they can hide. They're here. They are here. They are shy, I suppose, or subtle, or whatever, but they are here. To make a statement like there's none, really? That's a very bold statement to make. So I guess he's entitled to his opinion, and as is anybody else. But I also think that, at the end of the day, Elon Musk is a brilliant, but just another person with an opinion. He may be right on things, he may be wrong, but on this, I think at least he's partially wrong. I think he's just basically saying don't waste the energy. If they want us to know they're here, they'll let us know they're here. If they want us to know that they're around, they'll let us know they're around. And that is a good point. How much money or dollars can you spend looking for signals and stuff? But I will say, I think that the whole SETI at home thing and the whole search for extraterrestrial life has, in effect, taught us a lot about the universe around us. For instance, solving some of the fast radio burst puzzles that were coming out and finding they were part of a pulsar or something like that. They've been able to identify some phenomena that wasn't already noted or known. So there is good coming from the search, just because it's a search. We not be finding the prize, but we're finding a bunch of carrots along the way, or breadcrumbs, and that's important, I think, to the whole picture as well. So I don't know, but again, he's entitled to his opinion. It's Elon Musk, for God's sakes. He can, he has a bunch of them. And again, I don't think he's always right, and I don't think he's always wrong either. But it's just another opinion at the end of the day, and he's entitled to that. So, all right, so that's that article, which should be closing. My computer's all bogged down because I got all the files still open for the podcast, as well as all the broadcast stuff, because I don't want a chance losing anything. It took a long time to narrate today's episode, let me tell you. Oof. I've got to restructure all the emails people send me into readable formats, because a lot of them come in just one big block of text. So I've got to format them in a way that makes it easier to read. So there's a couple of good articles to start off our journey into these UFO encounters. I think a lot of people are seeing stuff. I don't think this is anything new. But obviously it isn't anything new. It's been going on since history, I think. When you look at the old paintings of the Middle Ages or Renaissance period that show what looked like UFOs depicted in the skies behind the central figures, it's like, well, where the hell did that come from? Somebody saw something and put it in the sky. Even in some biblical references, the rings of fire that were observed over the skies and in the skies around the ancient places, and encounters with these glowing beings. Well, they were understood to be angels, but what if they weren't? What if they were just another form of life that was too hard for these primitive beings to, these primitive peoples to explain, so they became angels. Maybe that's where the angels came from. I don't know. Just spitballing, but there's a lot of questions and a lot of references throughout history that people are seeing something. This is kind of a follow-up one. We had talked about a sighting from a commercial airline over New Mexico. Well, they saw like a cigar-shaped craft. And many people were speculating could have been a missile or could it have been a UFO, and who knows. But this is a follow-up from the FAA, apparently, regarding that sighting. And this is coming from Forbes.com. Forbes, of all places, ladies and gentlemen. And it's from Suzanne Rowan Kelleher. Okay. Well, thank you for the article, Suzanne. We're going to go through it now. It says a radio transmission from American Airlines from Cincinnati to Phoenix last weekend might have been ripped straight from the X-Files. Small font. Oh, horrible small font. Let's blow this up a lot. Okay. Do you have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us, said the pilot at 1:19 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. I hate to say this, but it looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast right over the top of us. According to audio published on aviation blog Deep Black Horizon, the blogger Steve Douglas intercepted the transmission accidentally as he was trying to pick up another aircraft with a radio scanner. It was pure coincidence, he told the Arizona Republic. Douglas used two flight tracking websites, Flight Radar 24 and Flight Aware, to determine that the exact position of the plane was over northeast corner of New Mexico, west of Clayton, New Mexico, at an altitude of 37,000 feet. Douglas' blog post includes a link to download audio MP3 file, which he named UFO. Following a debrief with the flight crew, American Airlines confirmed that the radio transmission came from Flight 2292. Yesterday, the FAA released a short statement. A pilot reported seeing an object over New Mexico shortly after noon local time on Sunday, February 21st, 2021. FAA air traffic controllers did not see any object in the area on their radar scopes. On those radar scopes. While authorities may never be able to explain what the missile-like object was, it's not the first time a pilot has spotted unexplained flying phenomena. In fact, it happens fairly regularly. A remarkably similar incident occurred over the Sonoran Desert 3 years ago on February 21st, 2018. Within minutes of each other, two pilots flying different aircraft, a Phoenix Air Group Learjet and an American Airlines commercial flight, both reported passing a mysterious object, according to audio recordings released by the Federal Aviation Administration to the Phoenix New Times several weeks later. Was anybody above us as we passed us like 30 seconds ago? The Learjet pilot asked an air traffic controller. Negative, replied the tower. On November 9th, 2018, a British Airways pilot flying over Ireland reported seeing a very bright light that disappeared at very high speeds. Reported The Guardian, a Virgin Airlines pilot confirmed seeing it as well. Multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory, very bright from where we were. Experts say there is usually a very logical explanation for UFO sightings. Experts. There's those experts again. And the U.S. government has had a famously long history for being tight-lipped on the subject. In recent years, however, there's been some notable movement on that front. Here we go. We're going to talk about the fast mover, the military releases. In 2017, the Pentagon acknowledged the existence of a $22 million advanced aerospace threat of identification program that had investigated reports of unexplained aerial phenomena from 2007 till it was shut down in 2012. In April 2019, the U.S. Navy announced it was modifying how pilots reported UFO sightings in favor of a more data-driven approach, telling Politico that there had been a number of reports of unauthorized and or identified aircraft entering various military-controlled ranges and designated airspace in recent years. So when are we going to get to the stars here anywhere? Anyway, we don't need a history lesson. Blah, 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 blah. They always get real redundant about this stuff. Like every article about UFOs has to talk about, well, in 2017, blah, 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 you know. And then they end up talking about To the Stars Academy, which is that Blink 182 clowns deal. And, well, anyway. So that's as much as I'm going to read about it because they just can't explain it. I guess the headline would have been enough. But it's an interesting article all the same. Again, from Forbes.com. She did a good job. Suzanne Rowan Kelleher, you did a great job. Thank you. But good article. Hope you enjoyed getting a little glimpse into that. Let me just see what's next here. Here's a UFO from International Business Times that was reported in Bangkok. I'm going to get a drink here. Hold on. A little parched. All this reading makes me a little parched. I'm a little bit parched. All right. Oh, yeah. There we go. UFO shoots past helicopter in Bangkok. Conspiracy theorists say aliens are monitoring human technology. I think they probably already got their finger on that deal. Combustion engines. Combustion engines. The end. I don't think aliens are taking too much time to catalog how we're doing what we're doing down here. I don't think we have anything on our immediate grid of everyday use that they would feel the need to have to watch and study. I think everything that we're doing, they probably already know all of the physics and mechanics behind it. So, but anyway, when you think about it, our consumer travel hasn't changed much for the better part of, well, ever. I mean, we're still using cars that are combustion engines for over 100 years, folks. That's not even moved much, other than we can get a lot more power out of it, more efficiency, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We integrate computers with it, but it's still just, basically a combustion engine. It's a lawnmower. We haven't done a lot there. You look at the other technologies in our world. How far have they gone? Look at computers from the 50s when they first started coming out. They took whole floors and whole buildings. And now your smartphone is like smarter than any of them, any of those first computers, by hundreds of times, thousands of times. And, the computer you may use, like a laptop or desktop computer, is more powerful than hundreds of supercomputers back in the day, like the Cray machines, the Cray monsters. And that technology is flying. Now they're talking about quantum computing, and what the hell does that mean? And what will that do? But then you look at, our communications, evolving, expanding, growing. Our space programs not really changing too much since we started lobbing scuds up, to get to the moon, after the Project Paperclip, World War II technology. We're still utilizing that same stuff obviously smarter computers, smarter, implementations or augmentations, but it's still the same thing. We're still strapping people to rockets and shooting them up, It's not moved. So something's not right. Something doesn't make sense there. All right, but let's keep going. So this is in Bangkok. It says, this guy comes up all the time, and I don't know who he is, but man, he is really like an attention getter. It says Scott C. Waring, and with that we've covered that name dozens of times in the last few months. He's in like every article. A self-styled alien hunter who is currently operating from Taiwan has recently released a mysterious UFO video, and the video apparently captured from Bangkok, Thailand. On March 11th, a black UFO can be seen shooting past a helicopter. The UFO seems black in color, and it screeched across the skies at very high speeds. In a recent blog post, Waring claimed that sightings like these are indicating alien presence on Earth. According to Waring, UFO sightings near human-made flying vessels could be suggesting the fact that aliens are monitoring the development of human technology. Again, I don't think so. I don't think there's much they can learn from a helicopter. I'm certainly nothing that would threaten them. This eyewitness was recording a helicopter flying over the neighborhood. Just at the right moment, a small black UFO sees the helicopter and shoots close to it, curving slightly and then shooting away before the helicopter pilots notice it. This is 100% typical behavior of alien drones. They are programmed to find, investigate. How does he know what they're doing? I mean, this is the arrogance I don't understand. Maybe he's right, but maybe he's not. They are programmed to find, investigate, and record all data of flying technology. Flying technology is a priority for aliens to gather data on us. Again, how does he know that? Because this allows them to accurately predict when humans will be capable of long-distance space travel, wrote Waring on UFO Sightings Daily. I'm not making fun of the guy. Honestly, I'm not. But for anybody to make absolute statements like that, well, this is what they're doing and this is why they're doing it. It's like, really? How could you possibly know that? Nobody could possibly know that. They could be scanning the DNA of the pilots. You know, you don't know. They could probably not care less. I mean, of the technology we're using to go up in the air. They're just maybe scanning DNAs. They could be doing a million other things. But it was around a few days back when a disc-shaped UFO was spotted above Santa Lucia Airport in Mexico. In a video released online, a disc-shaped UFO can be seen hovering in the skies as the flight was taking off. After analyzing the video, several netizens claimed that aliens are already here on Earth. According to these alien enthusiasts, governments and NASA are well aware of the extraterrestrial presence, but they're covering it up, the details, to avoid public panic. Earlier, an American Airlines pilot had also reported a UFO sighting while his flight was traveling from Cincinnati to Phoenix. American airline authorities confirmed the sighting, and they asked media outlets to contact the FBI for further details. Well, there you go. I'm not going to show the video because I don't, have permission. And it's not a news video. It's somebody's personal video that they put together based on this footage they gathered. So I'm not going to do that. But there's the still frame of it. If you guys want, I'll tell you what. I'll put the link in the show chat. And if you want to check it out, you certainly can. That's part of the deal here. Happy to let you check them out. Weather balloons, swamp gas. Yeah, Patrick. Everything's weather balloons and swamp gas. There it is. There's the link to that. If you want to check out the video at the bottom, you could do that. Big red. Good to see you guys. Thank you all for being here as we journey through the portal. And please, if you're not already, if you're new to the show, please get subscribed. Love for you to become part of what we're doing. We do live shows here on YouTube every Wednesday through Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And I'd love to see you back if you wouldn't mind doing it. And please like the stream if you would. That helps us out a ton. A ton. What am I doing now? What am I doing? Let's see what time it is. God, it's already going. I got to get to this other article by Brent Swancer. And then we're going to go to the Trail Cam Terrace, folks. So this is an article by our good friend, Mr. Brent Swancer, who writes for MysteriousUniverse.org. And if you're not familiar with MysteriousUniverse.org, get familiar with it. If you're into the paranormal, the 4D, and the cryptids, UFOs, you're definitely going to want to look into it because there are literally thousands of articles over there written by extraordinarily talented, I like to call them paranormal journalists, but Nick Redfern is over there, and he's a cryptozoologist, as is Paul Seaborn. Brent Swancer is one of the big authors over there as well. His articles are really well done and in depth, and you can follow him on Facebook as well. His group is called Dark League Paranormal. So if you're on Facebook and you want to catch up with Brent Swancer or be a part of his group where you get, every time he does an article, he's releasing that stuff out. You can do so by visiting Dark League Paranormal. Or you can just friend him directly, I guess. Brent Swancer. He's on Facebook as Brent Swancer. Nice guy. Wonderful job. And I love covering his stuff because I always learn something. So let's get to this article. This is, again, from MysteriousUniverse.org from November 19th, 2020. An alien abduction and an auto tune-up. What a deal. Yeah, if you're going to get abducted, you might as well get your car tuned up as well. Every so often it appears that whatever alien entities are out there seem to come down to abduct human beings, often leaving some very weird stories behind. Some of these are truly bizarre, and here we look at one such case from the wilds of South Africa. On August 21st, 1972, Peter and Francis McNorman were on a trip from Salisbury, Rhodesia, in what is now Zimbabwe, on their way to a place called Beit Bridge, lying along the border of South Africa. The drive was going fairly normal at first, but the night was about to get very strange, beginning with the appearance of a strange entity. As they drove along the dark landscape passing by, and the hypnotic lane lines flickering through the light of their headlights, Peter saw something else bloom into the light, which looked like a small, thin person with an oversized head. Although he had the impression that it was not human, whatever it was then vanished into thin air, leaving Peter baffled as to what he had just seen. The odd sighting would still be playing through his mind when sometime later things would get more bizarre still. And here we get into what is one of the oddest alien abduction accounts in South Africa. Wow. I don't know if Mary's in there. Is Mary in the chat? This is her stomping grounds. At some point, Francis was staring out the window into the murk beyond and noticed that there seemed to be a light out over the bush that was keeping pace with them. She told her husband, and he saw it too. Although what it was they could not determine, it was definitely not another car, and this became more apparent as it closed the distance and continued following them. As they wondered what the strange object could be, the car headlights suddenly began to fade, their light withering to leave the road ahead gloomy and illuminated solely by that mysterious light. The radio still worked, as did the interior lights, yet the headlights would not come back on, leaving the road ahead very indistinct. The couple then realized that it was absolutely freezing in the car, their breath casting plumes of mist in the cold. As Peter tinkered with the headlight switch some more, he was shocked to suddenly become aware that they were careening towards the murky night at a speed of over 90 miles an hour. Oh, jeez. Yikes. Peter then pumped the brakes, but nothing happened. And the steering wheel also would not respond. It was as if the car was no longer under his control, which was quite frightening considering the dangerous speeds they were barreling along on a winding road without headlights. Yeah. As all of this was happening, that anomalous light continued to tail them with inscrutable intent. It was only as they approached the town of Port Victoria that Peter regained control of the car and the frightened couple pulled into a service station. They noted that it was now 4:30 a.m. in the morning, filled their car with gas, and continued their journey into the weird. As they drove along this road en route they had taken many times before, they noticed that something wasn't quite right. The road from Fort Victoria to Belbeat Bridge was normally quite curved and winding, but they noticed that not only was it now completely straight, but the landscape itself seemed to have changed. Rather than the usual scrubland, there was in its place an expanse of high grasses and swampland that was completely unfamiliar to them. It was all odd enough that at first they thought they must be lost. And then they noticed that they were approaching the South African border and that the landscape had once again become what they were used to. Even odder than this was that although the whole episode had seemed to take less than a half an hour, nearly 2 hours had passed, with neither of them having any recollection of the missing time. Even weirder still was that the instrument panel told them that they had still had a full tank of gas. And when they finally got to the border, they were surprised to find their car had 4 brand new tires on it. How had this happened? Wow, that's awesome. Got new tires out of the deal. It's like the Mr. Beast of abductions. Funny. In an effort to find answers, Peter would undergo hypnotic regression to try and unearth any buried memories of that missing time. It would turn out to be even weirder than he had expected. According to him, during the missing time, a humanoid entity very similar to the one he had fleetingly seen on the edge of the road had suddenly materialized in the back seat of the car, after which a beam of light had washed over them, and the entire vehicle began to rise into the air. They would apparently fly up into a large UFO, and Peter was subsequently ushered off to what he called a sick bay, where he saw his wife and several other people in some sort of suspended animation. The aliens then gave him a medical examination and brought him to a hangar where he saw his car parked between 2 flying saucers, with the hood up and 4 aliens tuning the engine and fitting it with new tires. That was pretty nice of them. It would turn out that Peter's wife would never be able to remember what had happened to her or why she had been in that frozen, dazed state aboard that ship. This completely outlandish scenario was originally published in John Spencer's book, World Atlas of UFOs, and it is hard to know what to think of it all. There is very little that can be found to corroborate this oddball tale, and much of it is so weird and orbited with questions that it's difficult to know where to even start. Why did they lose control of their car on that lonely road? What was that light that was following them? Even more pressing is, what was that strange landscape they were in, and why was the normally twisting road straight at that time? Why would these aliens want to abduct them? And more importantly, why did they tune the car up, give it new tires, and presumably an oil change while they were at it? Well, who knows? Whatever you may think of this strange series of events, it's all certainly odd, and one could do worse than find mysterious alien abductions willing to carry out auto maintenance and new tires. Wow. I don't know, folks. That's an odd one. Is it possible? Sure, I guess. Maybe they got a heart about it. They're like, we're kind of screwing with these people, so let's give them a new set of tires. That's awesome. If you're not familiar with who Mr. Beast is, it's a YouTube channel. A guy's he's a young guy in his 20s, but ever since he's been a teenager, he's been doing these amazing giveaways, giving away tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, up to $1 million to people, just to be, I don't know, it's kind of a philanthropist of sorts, I guess. Just a really cool thing. I like to watch his shows because it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy, like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So if you haven't seen Mr. Beast, you should check it out on YouTube. Just do a search for Mr. Beast and kick back. And, it's mostly gained towards a younger audience, but it's still really cool to see what he does to help people out. It's nice to know there's people like that out there, because God knows a lot of people need help. So very cool. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed those stories and such. I think the UFO phenomenon is amazing and weird and peculiar and bizarre, but I guess we're dealing with extraterrestrial intelligences, and who knows? Maybe they're really weird in other places. But whatever they're up to, I just hope they like us. I hope they like us. So now it's become time, folks. It's time for the next part of our journey here on the Paranormal Portal. And this is the last little bit of the show, but hopefully it's still entertaining and fun. This is the Trail Cam Terrors. Well, that'll wake you up, won't it? All right, folks, tonight we got an image. Can't tell you where it comes from. It was never specific on the page that I found it on, but there's a weird couple of things going on. It kind of gives you an idea as to the scale of the whole situation. But this is some glowing eyes that are appearing in here. Now, there's a couple things that I think you should pay attention to. The first being in basically the dead center of the image. You can see this little line of what looks like a reflection. Well, I think that's the exposure of the camera catching this raccoon turning its head quick, being startled by something. The question is what the hell is this back there in the upper right corner of the screen? What is that? Those eyes are pretty far apart, given the distance that we're dealing with here. And I know some people will say owls, but if you make out where the tree trunks are, there's nothing really that it looks like it could be perching on. And it would have to be a huge owl, even at this distance, to have that much space between its eyeballs. I don't know. I'm not saying what it is or isn't. I'm just saying that owl would be a convenient thing for people to throw at it, but I'm not so convinced this is an owl. It doesn't seem to be perched on the tree that's next to it, but there's two distinct reflections coming back that appear to be eyes catching the IR light. So what is it exactly? I don't know, but it was captured almost 2 minutes shy of midnight on October 8th of 2012. So, I think this is the U.S. But you have to be the judge. But if you get an idea for what a full-grown raccoon looks like, they're pretty good size. They're about the size of, I don't know, most most comparable, I guess, in dogs would be like maybe a beagle, maybe a little less, like a pug. Somewhere between a pug and a beagle would be like an adult raccoon size. And you can see the raccoon is there with that streak of light where its eyes are turning as the frame is captured. So it's turning its head to possibly look at whatever's making this eye shine back here. But anyway, a weird image. And I can't say for sure, but if that's the size of that, then this figure could be, well, it could be not even standing up straight. We don't know. But it could be a very tall figure. And if it is, could it be a Bigfoot? Could it be a dog man? We don't know. But there it is, folks. That's tonight's Trail Cam Terrace. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find value in this segment of the show. I have to say that, at the end of these episodes, the most comments I get are about the trail cam pictures. It isn't so much about the whole rest of the show. It's like, hey, that trail cam picture was weird. And I like that. I'm glad you guys are sticking around and enjoying those. So I hope you will continue to do so. We'll be doing these at the end of every one of the Night Terrors episodes. So that's Sunday and Thursday nights. So, but that's the Trail Cam Terrors. So buckle up. Where the hell? Why isn't that showing up? Weird. Hold on. There it is. All right, folks. This has been our Night Terrors journey into the UFO phenomena, UFO encounters, along with some trail cam terrors. So I hope you had a good time. I hope you were wildly entertained at this point. And if you're new to the show, I hope you'll get subscribed. I'd love to have you stick around and check out our shows whenever they go live right here on YouTube. Ring the bell. But our live shows happen Wednesday night through Sunday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube. So I hope you guys will join us and become part of the family. And please, if you know people that are into the paranormal, spread word about the show. Let them know, and feel free to post these to your social media, to groups that you're in that are into the paranormal. I'd be honored. You have my blessing to do so. But anyway, folks, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope you had a good time. I'm going to be gone for a couple days because it's Monday, Tuesday, but I'll be here working on stuff. And I will see you on Wednesday again for the live Wednesday show, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don will be here. It'll be 2 full hours of fun. We'll try to make it worth your time. Well, we always do try. I just hope we succeed. But anyway, I love y'all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody, and I'll talk to you in a couple days.